This is the schedule listing screen. One of the things I want to point out that may happen in a record, if for some reason you create a new record in this screen, you might look like something like this, or it might be blank all the way across. You're not supposed to create records in listing screens. You do it within the schedule itself. So if you have the schedule down here and you're going to do a new scheduled item like this, a new work order, you create the new record using the new record button that's on the screen. If you go up on the server in that screen and there's a server menu there, you do not want to go ahead and open that screen by adding a new record. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the schedule listing screen, and you'll see that when it sorts, it should have the proper information in there is according to the information that you added in the schedule screen. And so do not add new records in this screen using the server menu. And that's true of any of the listing screens. Okay, now when you're in here and you can actually edit these screens, that's not a problem. You can add data if it was missing in the record, but guess what? You don't have anything to save it with in these screens. So you cannot save changes. You should go back into the schedule, do it in the schedule, and then submit it on the server. Now, if you add it here in the iPad, just to be confusing a little bit, it will add those changes and it will update those on the server using the FMGO app. So I just want to clarify that. This is true of all the listings that you're going to be seeing, and the same thing has to do with reports. If you edit in a report, we don't want you updating it on the report. So you should not edit it there, even though you can in FMGO. It does confuse the system because you're not going to be submitting it from the report or from the listing. Always go back to the main screen and then do it there. You can do finds here, obviously. That's not going to change anything. So if you're looking for a particular information thing, you would go into find mode. And in most cases, you would probably look for the work order number or the name of the person, and then all this information will be then presented. If you look at, for example, on a person and you want all that person's information, you could go ahead and just pick the name. If you wanted a certain date range of items, then you would do date range. Now, I'm going to show you how to do a date range, and I want to show you how that works so that you can see that there are multiple records in here, and I'm only going to do a date range. So this one would not show up because it doesn't have a date range in it. So let's start the find mode. Now, when you're in the date range in the date field and you want to do a date range, you would go ahead and say greater than or equal to on your keyboard, then the date you want to start with. So I would start with, let's say 7/1. I'm going to do 7/1/2013. Then I'm going to do a less than or equal to bound the dates within the range. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 7/5/2013. Now what I should get in there, oops, it has to have an equal, so let's make sure we put the equal sign in there as well. It has to be less than or equal to, just to emphasize the change that needs to be made in there. So it'd be 7/5. Now when I do the perform find, it should not find that one blank record. And you see the three records. They were bound between the 1st and the 5th, so it picked up everything within the 1st and the 5th, and it actually has them in order, interestingly enough. Now when I go ahead and put them back in and I say show all, you'll see that it puts the one that was missing in there. Now on the server, and even on the iPad, you can do a thing that says omit record. And what omit does is you click anywhere in a field, and then you can go up on the menus and say omit that record. It'll take it back out again. There's another option on the server that says, if you are in this field, you can say show omitted only. Then it'll show the records and remove all these that were not omitted and only show the one that was omitted. So that's something you need to be aware of when you're looking at the server menus. And it's also possible to do that on the iPad. Why would you want to do that? Well, maybe if you picked a list of these things and this one came in and you didn't want it, you could say omit record and it would take it out. Then say maybe you just want to see the ones you omitted, you would go ahead and do the show omitted and it would show only this record. Hopefully that's clear. If you do not understand what I'm saying, you can always contact me for more information. Thank you.